Almighty God, we gather this day in memory and celebration of the chartering of Seton Hall by the state of New Jersey. Ages before this charter, Jesus, who is the supreme teacher and himself the truth, gave this mandate through the apostles to the church. Go therefore and teach all nations. Through the apostles too, your disciples in every age have been charged not only to know the truth, but to do it as Jesus taught. Love one another as I have loved you. That is, in the manner of humble servants. This was the new commandment according to Jesus, who himself has written it not on stone, but on hearts of flesh, our hearts, by the finger of God that is the Holy Spirit. To this testament or covenant of Jesus, we have not always been responsive or faithful. But continually all men and women are recalled to fidelity by the Church, and they are schooled and trained for it in institutions of Catholic higher education, such as Seton Hall, which has committed itself to the formation of servant leaders after the conduct of Jesus and the inspiration of its namesake, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. Grant, O Lord, that Seton Hall may never waver, but remain ever steadfast in the pursuit of its noble mission, in the fulfillment of the Church's mandate, and in discharge of its lawful charter, in order that the learning it acquires and disseminates may be the cause of human progress towards all that is true and good and beautiful, to the renown and praise of your name. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Thurman and Mr. Novick. And thank you, Monsignor Zaccardi, for your warm and heartfelt invocation. It's my great pleasure now to introduce our president, Dr. Gabriel Esteban. Most recently, our provost and chief academic officer. He served as interim president of Seton Hall for the 6 months prior to his appointment in January. His signature accomplishments as provost included our successful strategic planning initiative, a renewed commitment to the centrality of the academic enterprise, and a comprehensive change in our enrollment strategy that resulted in our largest class in 30 years, with a dramatic increase in student quality. Traditionally, Seton Hall has seen the award of more international faculty fellowships and student scholarships, including 1 Rhodes and 4 Fulbrights, than ever in its history during his time as provost. A committed pirate, Gabe is perfectly positioned to lead our community into the 21st century. Dr. Esteban.
Thank you, Jack. Welcome, everyone, to the 150th anniversary of the signing of Seton Hall's charter. We are here to celebrate our history and our traditions, to acknowledge who we are and where we are going. We are fortunate today to have as our keynote speaker Monsignor Thomas Nydegger, who will talk to us about journey and development. Thank you, Monsignor, for your work in student affairs, helping to educate students about the important decisions they are facing today and the challenges that will confront them tomorrow. Each year on Charter Day, the university acknowledges 3 special employees whose distinguished service to Seton Hall sets them apart. They have dedicated their lives and careers to the university and its students. I want to congratulate Robin Cunningham, Marianne Ardone, and Charles Sullivan as the 2011 McQuaid Medalists. Congratulations also to this year's Servant Leader Scholars, whose names are listed in your program, and the recipients of the President's Award for Student Service, Patricia Nardone and Professor Deborah Zinicola. I commend you on your contributions to our Seton Hall community. I hope you enjoy today's convocation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Esteban. It's now my great pleasure to introduce to you our keynote speaker, who is a good old friend of mine, Monsignor Tom Nydegger, who is the Associate Vice President for Student Affairs here at Seton Hall. Tom's a wonderful example of a Jersey boy. He was raised in Glenbrook, graduated from Bergen Catholic, went on to challenge the Jesuit fathers at Fairfield University, and by all accounts did so successfully. Completed his undergraduate work there in sociology, received his Master of Divinity from our own Immaculate Conception Seminary School of Theology, and was ordained in 1992. He successfully defended his dissertation most recently at our own College of Education and Human Services, receiving that degree in December of 2008. He's enjoyed a series of leadership roles during his career, serving as parochial victor at Immaculate Conception Church, secretary to the Archbishop of Newark, and most recently, before his appointment to Student Affairs, as vice rector and director of formation at the seminary. The good news, his experience and leadership are a perfect complement to the Division of Student Affairs support for the holistic development of our students and its commitment to our Catholic mission and identity. Please welcome our own successful Jersey boy as he helps us understand his journey. Monsignor.
Dr. Esteban, Dr. Robinson, members of the Charter Day Committee, revered faculty and administration, all of us gathered here today as a Seton Hall University community. It is an honor and a privilege for me to be addressing you on this Charter Day. As has been said, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Charter Day commemorates the granting of the charter to Seton Hall College by the state of New Jersey in 1861. It salutes the year of our founding in 1856, and perhaps more importantly, it offers us the opportunity to reflect on our great history and to renew our commitment to our purpose and mission, living out the commitment to moral education. Have you ever asked yourself the question, what am I doing here? I don't mean right now, but in general, what am I doing here? Not in a practical or circumstantial way, but in a reflective way. Oftentimes, such a question can come at a time of transition when adjusting to a new situation or a new role. But it can also come when you're simply wondering about the why of life, career, motivation, or the like. If we are truly honest, I guess it can come really at any time when one is confronted with something to consider. For me, the catalyst for this particular instance of asking the question, what am I doing here, comes from my first day in the Division of Student Affairs. November 1st, 2010, the Solemnity of All Saints, which was, all things considered, not a very bad day for a priest to begin a new position at a Catholic university. The night before, October 31st, 2010, at around 9:30 p.m. on Halloween night, I walked out of the seminary for the last time as its vice rector, business manager, and director of formation. I walked away from a life I had known for 10 years. By that time, I felt I knew seminary formation fairly well, although some seminarians might argue with me on this. But I was familiar with it. I was comfortable with it. I was like a fish swimming in familiar waters. I knew that priestly formation was built upon the 4 pillars that Pope John Paul II affirmed in his apostolic exhortation, Pastoris Dabo Vobis, I will give you shepherds. Those pillars being the human, the spiritual, the intellectual, and the pastoral. I knew in order for seminary formation to be effective and fruitful, these 4 pillars needed to be integrated, as stressed in the 5th edition of the program of priestly formation. From the research and work on my dissertation, I uncovered and learned ways to promote and foster effectively that integration. Yes, when I walked out of Lewis Hall that Halloween night, I knew seminary priestly formation fairly well. Trick or treat. Fast forward 11 and a half hours, and I was now sitting in my new office in the Division of Student Affairs. Despite a very thorough introduction to student affairs that I had been given on several occasions prior, quite naturally, I found a question popping into my head. What am I doing here? I really didn't know student affairs that well. I was only remotely familiar with it. I couldn't say that I was necessarily comfortable with it. I felt like a fish out of water. Little did the division know that they had their work cut out for them in educating me, let alone our students. In answering my own question, I said to myself, I've got to learn, and I've been learning ever since, thanks in large part to the patience of so many who willingly take the time to help me. A few weeks ago, the Student Affairs Committee of the Board of Regents met and a PowerPoint presentation was being conducted. As I was sitting there still learning, 4.5 months later, a slide flashed up on the screen, and the slide said, "The 5 pillars of retention." I was so excited. Student Affairs has pillars too. There was a common point of reference. Actually, I had discovered that commonality between seminary priestly formation and the kind of formation and education that happens in every student at Seton Hall University quite some time earlier. If the 4 pillars of priestly formation are the human, the spiritual, the intellectual, and the pastoral, then might the 4 pillars of a university education be just like them? The intellectual, the personal, the spiritual, and the service. Servant leaders for a global community. I've come to see quite vividly that this is what occupies the efforts of those of us in the Division of Student Affairs. In fact, we, see the time students spend outside of the classroom as, to quote our annual report, an opportunity and indeed a responsibility for us to promote intellectual, personal, and spiritual growth. This holistic approach to student learning and development cultivates both the skills to pursue meaningful goals and the vision and motivation to serve the common good. And if the intellectual, the personal, the spiritual, and servant leadership are the pillars of the Catholic education that we must provide for our students, and if they must be integrated, then don't all of us, each and every one of us, administration, faculty, staff, and student alike, have a vital role to play in the education and formation of each and every one of our students, our future graduates, citizens, and servant leaders. On many occasions and in different and varied ways, I've heard Dr. Esteban express and live what his counterpart at Catholic University of America, John Garvey, echoed in his inaugural address, Intellect and Virtue, the Idea of a Catholic University, on January 25th, 2011. He said, "If we examine practice and not theory, that one mark of a Catholic university is the nature of student life. A Catholic university should be concerned with the formation of its students. Campus ministry, residence life, service opportunities, athletics, student activities are an integral part of our mission. The measure of success is how our graduates live their daily lives." It is important for all of us to see that these things are not secondary or even superfluous to the educational experience, but integrally related to it. All these dimensions, pillars, if you will, are integrally related, and one cannot fully stand without the other. This then leads to another very important question. Can we ever hope to integrate the learning experience of our students if we ourselves are not integrated in our approach to and execution of education? Perhaps we can take our lead from the age-old and traditional battle between science and religion. Ilio Delios, a senior fellow at Woodstock Theological Center at Georgetown University, champions the possibility of the integration between science and religion and the ability to develop collaborative structures of interaction between religion and science, benefiting students and faculty, academically and spiritually. She says, to restore soul to the university may require the reimagining of education, including a search for new ways to develop dialogue between science and religion. Development of this relationship can enrich personal life, community life, and the life of the planet. Developing the dialogue, refining the reflection and dialogue, communication and collaboration. Can these be the tools and the methodology we use, both internally and externally, to integrate the pillars of total human development in Catholic higher education today? Intellectual, personal, spiritual, and service. Moreover, can we recognize that there is more than enough talent, knowledge, and expertise here at Seton Hall between all of us, working together and with each other, that there is nothing we cannot accomplish for ourselves and for our students? My learning experience in the Division of Student Affairs continues and will continue as I discover more explicitly what is implicit in all we do and need to do here at Seton Hall together. Less and less am I asking, what am I doing here? But let all of us never fail to ask that important question, especially on days like Charter Day, when we remember and reflect on our great history and renew our commitment to our purpose and our mission. What are we doing here? What are we doing here at Seton Hall University? Pope Benedict XVI leads us to the answer in a comment he made when he visited the United States in 2008. He said, "Truth means more than knowledge. Knowing the truth leads us to discover the good. Truth speaks to the individual in his or her entirety, inviting us to respond with our whole being. Truth speaks to our students in the classrooms. Truth speaks to our students in the residence halls. Truth speaks to our students in the offices of counseling, disability, and health services. Truth speaks to our students in the offices and programming of our community and leadership development. Truth speaks to our students in our chapel, where studies show the spiritual enhances educational development and the general welfare of our students. Truth speaks to our students in the service of and leadership to each other and beyond, as we seek the betterment of our society and our world, one person at a time. In short, truth speaks to our students in every school, every division, and every department of this university, no matter what their task, however big or small. In the end, the most important thing is that the truth be spoken loudly and clearly. That is our purpose. That is our mission. That is the moral education that gave us our start and that we celebrate today. And the only way that we can possibly hope to declare and proclaim that truth as loudly and clearly as it needs to be and deserves for the total human development is by embracing every opportunity to engage in open and frank conversation and discussion. Let us never stop talking to one another. about what we need to do and how we can do it. We are all in this together. How can we ever hope to plug into the full power of what we can accomplish here at Seton Hall unless we all work together? Please accept my apologies for beginning and ending with a question and peppering questions throughout. But I'm still learning, and I know the only way we can continue to learn is together. Thank you.
Thank you, Monsignor Nydegger. The Bishop Bernard J. McQuaid Medal for Distinguished Service is awarded annually to long-serving members of the Seton Hall community who have demonstrated outstanding service and commitment to the university's mission. Introducing this year's McQuaid medalists is Dr. Larry A. Robinson, our Provost and Executive Vice President, and Dr. Esteban will present the medals. Dr. Robinson.
Thank you, Professor Shannon. Tradition, quality, excellence. I take pride, and it's certainly a privilege to be a part of any proceedings that recognize these values. And today we have a number of people that do. Commissioned in 1964 in honor of the first president of Seton Hall University, the Bishop Bernard J. McQuaid Medal for distinguished service is presented to long-serving members of the university faculty, staff, administration, in recognition of their outstanding contributions to the university community. The recipients of this award strive with excellence to fulfill Seton Hall's mission every day, and I'm pleased to recognize them at this time. Will Miss Robin Cunningham please stand? Miss Cunningham has ably served the university since 1982, and her exemplary work has been recognized both locally and nationally. In all her positions at Seton Hall, Director of Academic Support Services for Student Athletes, Mentor in Freshman Studies, Director of the Seton Summer Scholars Program, and Associate Dean of Freshman Studies, she has demonstrated a constant, unparalleled passion for service to our students. She is a true inspiration, not only to her students, but also to her colleagues in the faculty, staff, and administration. Her students describe her as inspirational, special, supportive, using their words of the underdog, visionary, courageous, spectacular, awesome. She is an exceptional role model for her students and colleagues. Ms. Cunningham has worked closely with the Catholic Studies and the Center for Servant Leadership to explore the meaning of spirituality and vocation, and to bring the connection of vocation and faith to our freshman classes. She has received many awards, and this well-deserved recognition is a testament to her servant leadership. For her service to Seton Hall University, Ms. Cunningham is a worthy recipient of the Bishop Bernard J. McQuaid Medal for Distinguished Service. Ms. Cunningham, would you please come forward to receive your medal? Thank you. Miss Mary Ann Nardone, would you please stand? Miss Nardone has been a friendly face at the university since 1983. First in the purchasing department and now in the procurement department. In the purchasing department, she took an active and critical role in the implementation of the university's financial reporting system. One of the first to learn the system, she enthusiastically mentored others as they learned to navigate the features and the complexities of this new accounting software. In her current position, she is responsible for processing invoices and allocating payments to vendors through the Banner system. Mrs. Nardone enjoys her work at Seton Hall and considers the university community as a family. She is known for her loyalty, dedication, dependability, integrity, and hard work. She projects a warm, cheerful attitude and resolves difficult situations with remarkable patience and admirable tact. Ms. Nardone enjoys her work. She brings joy to those who are fortunate to work with her. We all benefit from that. For her service to Seton Hall University, Ms. Mary Ann Nardone is the most worthy recipient of the Bishop Bernard J. McQuaid Medal for Distinguished Service. Ms. Nardone, would you please come forward to receive your medal? Will Professor Charles Sullivan please stand? During his 31 years at Seton Hall University, Professor Sullivan has taught and guided hundreds of students, served as a mentor and friend to fellow faculty members, and has been one of the leading scholars in the nation on employment and employment discrimination law. He currently serves as the director of the Rodino Law Library at the law school and as the faculty advisor to the Sports and Entertainment Law Journal. As associate dean of the law school, he has raised the school's academic standards, increased the bar passage rate, and changed the ethos of the school into a strong community that characterizes it today. Professor Sullivan is one of the most popular and highly sought-after faculty members at the law school, and his contract course is one of the noted hallmarks of the education of many law students and is considered by many to be legendary. For his service to Seton Hall University, Professor Sullivan is the most worthy recipient of the Bishop Bernard J. McQuaid Medal for Distinguished Service. Professor Sullivan, please come forward to receive your medal.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson and Dr. Esteban. And congratulations to the 2011 McQuaid medalists. Can we recognize them one more time? Responsiveness to the needs of our students has been essential to the mission of Seton Hall since our founding more than 150 years ago. The President's Award for Student Service is awarded annually to individuals who are nominated by our students. The award winners this year have rendered outstanding service to our students and have demonstrated their commitment to listening and responding to the needs, suggestions, and concerns of our students in countless ways. It is my pleasure to welcome to the podium Professor Kathleen Buzang, Interim Vice President, Vice Provost. Freud is haunting us. For Academic Administration, who will introduce two individuals who will receive the President's Award for Student Service. Dr. Esteban will present the awards. Professor Buzang.
Heard of more private ways of promoting people, but you know, whatever it takes. Good afternoon. Patricia Nardone is honored today with the President's Award for Student Service. She is unable to attend the convocation due to illness, but quite fittingly, she has asked a student, Anthony Caputo, to accept on her behalf. Where's Anthony? Anthony, stand. Look really happy. Patricia Nardone is a publications assistant in the Public Relations and Marketing Department. Her work ethic is surpassed only by her geniality and care for her students, always gently encouraging them and coaching them on the finer points of how to succeed in a professional setting. She has instilled in her students an excellent work ethic and has helped them to learn to exercise discipline and to accept responsibility. As the work study supervisor, she is dedicated to fostering a strong relationship between the students and the department. With a commitment to fostering professionalism, she ensures that the students develop valuable interpersonal, organizational, and time management skills. Even as Patricia mentors her student workers to become future professionals, she encourages them to excel in their classes and to maintain good academic standing. For her service to our students, Patricia Nardone is a most worthy recipient of the President's Award for Student Service. So we ask an exemplar of her work, Anthony Caputo, to come forward to accept the award on her behalf. Will Dr. Deborah Zinicola please stand? Deborah Zinicola is an outstanding professor and advisor in the College of Education and Human Services. Loved and respected by her students, she teaches science methods courses to undergraduate elementary and special education majors. She also teaches in the university's core curricular program. Passionate about her profession, she is interested in developing excellent teachers who understand how students learn. She connects her scholarship to her classroom practices and uses her research to enhance student learning, always encouraging her students to strive for excellence. Her students describe her classes as fun and amazing. They comment that they have learned so much from her, whether it's content knowledge, how to teach students, or how to be enthusiastic about teaching. Her students also describe her as an amazing advisor who is always available to assist them with questions about coursework, registration and scheduling, planning for the future, and personal matters. I think I need an appointment. For her service to our students, Deborah Zinicola is a most worthy recipient of the President's Award for Student Service. Please come forward to receive your award.
Thank you, Professor Buzang and Dr. Esteban. And congratulations to the recipients of the President's Award for Student Service. Can we give them one more round of applause? It is now my pleasure to welcome again to the podium Monsignor Anthony Zaccardi, who will present this year's Servant Leader Scholars. Monsignor?
Ben Franklin is supposed to have said, I'm not sure whether he said it, but I like to think he said it, never was a good knife made from bad metal. Success, being good at what we do, before being about competence, is about being good ourselves. It's about character development, about intellectual, moral, and religious conversion. Good leaders, those who are truly effective, are those who seek leadership not for their egos, but for others. That is, they seek not to be served, but to serve. This goes not only for the Mother Teresas of the world, it goes for everybody who aspires to accomplish something in the world. And in that vein, I'd like to introduce some of our students who are on the way to becoming great leaders, because they've been good leaders amongst us. In fact, we are going to be saying goodbye to some of them because they're seniors. So we're going to present the seniors first to tell you a little something about them and what they're off to do, and then we'll present the others. We'll have you please stand when we call your name, and we'll withhold applause until they're all standing. Or maybe we'll do the seniors first and then the rest. How's that? James Bischoff. James is a business management major from Freehold, New Jersey. He's currently interviewing with ADP for a sales position, and he hopes to come back to Seton Hall for his MBA in the near future. James will continue to be a youth group leader at his church, where he's involved in many service projects. Lisa Dito is from Whippany, New Jersey, and she's majoring in elementary education, special education, and environmental studies. She did her student teaching at Salem Drive School in Whippany and is interviewing for a middle school science position at the Memorial Junior School in Whippany, which she herself attended. Lisa will also pursue her master's at Rutgers University in environmental sciences. The active service that she's most enjoyed was being the director of the Vacation Bible School at her home church. Stephanie Rigger is a nursing major from Union, New Jersey. She will be doing an internship this summer at the Somerset Medical Center in pediatric surgery. Stephanie is hoping to be employed by NYU Hospital in downtown Manhattan. In the past, she enjoyed doing service at the Friars House in Newark, which she helped renovate through M.Div, that is our Division of Volunteer Efforts. Jennifer Zamirsky is from Mishawaka, Indiana. I think I pronounced that correctly. She's majoring in elementary education, special education, and English. She's currently a student, she's a student teacher at the Tri-Valley School in Dumont. Jennifer will attend graduate school at the University of Wisconsin and pursue a master's in rehabilitation and psychology. One active service that she will always remember is being a volunteer leader at CPNJ, that is Cerebral Palsy of North Jersey, where she was able to act as liaison between CPNJ and our Division of Volunteer Efforts. As a result of that, M.Div will now be offering volunteer programs at CPNJ. So how about a round of applause for these seniors? Now I'd like to introduce to you the servant leaders are here. I just call their names and tell you what class and major they are. This is not all of them. There's a bigger list in your program, but the others that aren't here are studying or they're serving in some other capacity. So let's have Jasmine Avacedo stand up. Jasmine? She's a junior, and her major is criminal justice and social work. And Mary Anderson? Mary is also a junior, and her major is accounting. Kim Bauernfeind is a junior, and she's in physical therapy. And then we have Mary Bellevaux. Mary is a freshman, and she's studying diplomacy and international relations. She's minoring in French and environmental studies. Cassie Dembo. No, okay. How about James Fuller? Okay. He's a freshman, and he's majoring in psychology, and he's also minoring in Spanish. Amanda Genevieve, whose proud dad is here. Amanda is a junior, and she's pursuing a major in business administration management, and she has a minor in Catholic studies. Stephanie Gonzalez. Stephanie is a freshman, and she's pursuing a major in finance and information technology. And Juliet Hughes, who's a junior, is pursuing a major in social work and sociology. And Stephanie Pereira is a sophomore, and she is, her major is nursing. John Procopio is a sophomore, and he's pursuing a major in elementary and special education, math and computer science. That's a lot. Elaine San Juan is a junior, and her major is biology. And Jennifer Walker is pursuing a major in physical therapy. She's a senior. And also we have one graduate student amongst the servant leaders, and that's Margaret Wessel. If Margaret would stand up. She is pursuing studies in physical therapy. Great. Thank you. How about a round of applause, please? Actually, there is one more, and that's Marilyn Cruz. She didn't make it onto my list, but she is on our list of students. How about a round of applause for Marilyn?
Thank you, Monsignor Zicardi. And congratulations to our servant leader scholars. You know what I want? One more round of applause. This concludes our Charter Day convocation. Thank you all for coming to this very important event. Following the recessional, everyone is invited to a light reception in the lobby here in Jubilee Hall. And now please rise and join Dr. Gloria Thurmond in the singing of our alma mater. And please remain standing after the alma mater until the dais party exits the auditorium. Thank you.